I remember when I was 12, I was walking through the house that I had grown up in one night, and reality was just sinking in for me. My mom had moved out when I was 9 and too young to fully understand. At 12, I was realizing the hole that her leaving left in our family. I walked past my dad's room and saw him by himself. I remember walking into the room and putting my head on his chest and saying, "I miss Mom." And after a second, he replied back, "I miss her too." Before this, my household was pretty normal. 2 sisters and both parents in a loving home. We went to church for Christmas and Easter with my grandma. I was never neglected, and my parents tried hard to make things normal for us after the divorce. But I couldn't help comparing my life to the kids around me. It was weird, and I knew it was weird. Receiving love from 2 houses and moving between the 2. Holidays were different, everything was different. A lot of times my dad worked out of town and my mom worked shift work, so we spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house, and I ended up leaning on my grandpa as a main male role model. Throughout high school, I continued comparing my life to others, and depression started to grow inside of me. I had big plans for my life. I was academic, getting a B+ average in math and sciences, and I was going to become an engineer. But my depression kept getting worse, and I ended up not graduating with my class and not being able to attend UVic like I had planned. During my parents' divorce, I never thought about praying or asking for help. I just relied on myself and felt that things had to get better. But things didn't get better. I blamed myself for much that had gone wrong in my parents' marriage and spent so much time sizing my life up against others, wishing things were different and dwelling on all the things that were wrong in my life. In 2017, my grandpa got sick and passed away. I felt completely lost. He was the one person who had consistently been my rock during the hard times, and with him gone, I felt so alone. I was in a bad relationship, I was working 60 hours a week at 2 dead-end jobs, and I had no idea where I was headed. I remember a rainy day in April 2017 when I felt like I couldn't do it anymore. I asked myself, is this a life worth living? What am I even doing? I did something I had never done before, and I called my best friend, who's now my girlfriend. I spilled everything that was happening, and the line went quiet for a second. Then she said, "I'm going to pray for you." That was the beginning of something. Even though I had never really thought about God very much before, this was the beginning of hope. It meant so much that somebody would take the time out of their day to think about me and pray for me. Nobody had ever done that before. Soon after this, another friend knew I was struggling and invited me to Southside. I remember being so nervous. I had heard the stereotypes of church and churchgoers, and I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into. But my experience at Southside was not what I expected. I was greeted in the parking lot, at the door, and again at the gym doors, and for someone who never went to church, I felt welcomed. I continued to come. I didn't even know why I was going, but something kept me coming back. After a few months of this, everything began to click. Something Pastor Mike said really hit home. Learn to let go of your painful past. I felt that message really sink in, and I slowly began to stop comparing myself to other people. I let go of the pain of my parents' divorce that had weighed so heavily on me for so long. I remember during worship one Sunday shortly after this that I had this strange feeling inside of me. It was sort of like butterflies or something, and I didn't know what it was. It was my girlfriend's mom who said that I was probably feeling God's love, and I started thinking about God's love for me and started opening my heart up a little bit to Him. It was Christmas Eve of 2018. It was so cliche I almost wanted to wait, but I knew it was finally time. When Pastor Mike asked if anybody wanted to let Jesus into their life, I slowly put my hand up. I sort of thought this was the only step that I had to take, but God doesn't let us stay comfortable. He continued to push me to take my next step and get more involved here at church. So I signed up with the Fueled Up initiative for the For This City outreach. It was so incredible to be a part of something bigger than me and to be a part of a team who was bringing hope to our city. I expected to feel God at church, but during For This City, I realized that God wasn't just inside the church walls. When I allowed Him into every part of my daily life, it really started to change. Once again, God didn't let me get comfortable. And when I heard that baptism was coming up, my heart started pounding and I knew that this was my next step. I am so excited to follow Jesus wherever He takes me. God showed me something really cool when I was hiking in Banff with my girlfriend. I was following behind her, straining to keep my eyes on her, when this thought came into my head. What would my life look like if I kept my eyes on God just like this? If I set my sights only on Him, where would He take me? Every day with His help, I'm learning to have perseverance, and I'm learning that simply being there for people in my life every day is God's plan for me. I want to be there for those who are struggling like I was. I'm also learning how to be authentic, and that it's okay to ask for help when I need it. I'm learning gratefulness. With my eyes on Jesus, I can finally stop obsessively comparing my life to other people's and just focus on keeping my eyes on Jesus and following Him one next step at a time.